Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's video. Today's topic is going to be something that really annoys me, and I wanted to get it off my chest. And of course, the better way to do that than to make a video where I flail my arms around while talking as an excuse to show off my beautiful new tattoo. No, today's topic is about Yuzu being taken down, which I am very much unhappy with. Before we get into it though, I have a new video coming out in the next few days. It's an unboxing one. It's the best we've ever done. I'm just looking for my little remote here to turn the lights down a bit. It's all bright. But no, the unboxing video is one of the best we're ever going to do in this channel. Go and check it out. I just need to add a few background tracks and it'll be sorted. Other than that, Yuzu is fucking gone. Yuzu is something that I've used for a while because I don't like the Switch, and I don't really want to hide that. I don't make an effort to talk about it a lot. I don't make a lot of gaming-based videos, at least rant ones. But I do not fucking like this piece of technology because it was marketed to be the greatest console of all time, the ultimate gaming device. You can see I was watching a Mutahar video in the corner. I was watching one before I made this. It's late and I need to get the video out of the way because I got shit to do. But no, I use it all the time because I don't like the Switch. You know, it was marketed as the greatest console of all time, but it can barely handle its games. Locked at 30 frames per second no matter what happens. This is an OLED. This is a Switch OLED. OLED screen, better graphics chip, all that fun shit. Still struggles to run most games. Still locked at 30 FPS and still a 720p resolution, which for an OLED, fucking garbage. And we're not even going to talk about the fact that these little Joy-Cons here are known to break. And I actually have a wonderful story about how I went to check my local second-hand game shop about how much they charge for Joy-Con repairs. It was ridiculous. It was like £35 per. And then a guy there stopped me. He's like, whoa, you don't need that. Just go online. You can order a repair kit on Amazon for £5, watch a YouTube video. You just need to replace the joysticks. Do it all the time. It works. I swear to fucking God, that member of staff looked at me with the biggest death glare I'm ever going to get. Because that guy just saved me a lot of money. And he was very blatant about it. But you know, either way, I very rarely use the Switch anymore because of how horribly it performs. It doesn't feel comfortable in my hands, and having a Steam Deck just kind of proves that. You know, it's a LED screen with better battery. It can run fucking Resident Evil 4, Dark Souls 3, Final Fantasy. It can run whatever I want, including emulators. If I boot up my Steam Deck right now, I can show you right here on my beautiful Steam Deck that I have plenty of emulators. It's a bit too bright. Plenty of Switch games in here because I dumped them from my actual modded Switch, which I have in one of the drawers down there. And it's not even just Switch games. I just emulate a lot of games. You know? If I go into my collection, but I have, you know, plenty of emulators here. Plenty of them. Because I like to emulate. Game preservation is important to me, so I do make sure to keep backups of all the games that I have. Alongside the fact that, yeah, sometimes I just want to play Dragon Quest VIII portably. Or, you know, maybe I want to play Dragon Quest IX, but with some mods and upscaling. You know, it's that easy. But ultimately, what I'm more concerned about is the fact that all these consoles will die eventually. I'm in my early 20s, so I know for a fact that I'm at a point in my life where I will 100% see every system in this room fail on me. It's going to happen. It might not happen within the next 5 years or maybe 10, but it will happen. I've got a DS back there in one of the drawers that I've had since about 2009, and it still works with not any issue, but let's face it, it's gonna fail. First console ever, I'm surprised it's still intact, but eventually it will fail, and then I can't play my DS games. So how do I deal with it? Emulation. Although with Switch emulation, it's a bit different. I do it because I can get good resolution, 60 frames per second, mod support, all of the fun things that come with games and the freedom of it. I don't emulate games for Xbox or PlayStation. I typically, if I want to get an old game for that, I'll just buy it. And the reason being, it's so easy and accessible, and backwards compatibility exists on pretty much all of these consoles. My Xbox Series X I only use for 360 games. I'm not even kidding. I don't fucking play any modern game on that. I use it solely to run 360 games. And you're probably wondering, why don't I just have a 360? Well, it used to be my main console, and I did used to run a lot of newer games on it, but now it's mainly for those older games I can only get an Xbox, because they are dirt cheap, they're easy to find, and I like playing on original hardware. And, at the same time, it's backwards compatible, so I'm not going to have to sift for years looking through hundreds of pounds worth of scalpers. That's another thing that emulation makes good. I saw copies of Pokemon Black and White 2 that are £100, $350. I've seen plenty of it, and it's fucking bullshit. The game was sold for £30 over 10 years ago when it came out. It's not worth £100. I love Pokemon Black 2. It's my favourite Pokemon game. Not worth £100. I don't care. It's not. And any Pokemon fan that can come after me, it's not worth £100. Because the company that made it, they do not profit from it anymore. It's solely profit to scalpers and second-hand game shops that want to profit from these old games. You like the game? Great. They're going to upsell you the fucking whole thing. They're going to charge you for every step you take because they are scummy bastards, and I'm not putting up with it. So no, I just emulate it because I don't want that. And the risk of the cartridge failing and bricking, because every time your save data corrupts, you need to buy a new game. Even though DS games like Dragon Quest IX had an actual way of counteracting this, who cares? Doesn't matter. I'm emulating, so I don't have to worry about it. But no, with Switch games, it's mainly about performance, accessibility, and the fact that I don't want to use an uncomfortable piece of hardware that can barely run the fucking game. Tears of the Kingdom, you're lucky if it hits 20 FPS on an OLED. On my PC or on my Steam Deck, it hits 30 flawlessly. I can get a 60 FPS patch and make it run 60 FPS without any issue, and that's the great part. Now, the reason that Yuzu, which I kind of think they're a bit pussyish for just settling and not taking it to court. There's plenty of reasons why they would not have been taken down and they wouldn't have had to pay damages. But hey, businesses don't like to go into lawsuits. It costs a lot of money, takes a lot of time. I get it, right? I don't think that they were threatened. I think that to some extent they just couldn't be bothered with it all and just submitted. But they basically admitted guilt, which means Nintendo might get the idea they can do it with everything. All of it. Even though they couldn't get rid of Dolphin, even though Dolphin was actually violating shit by having BIOS in the emulator. FYI, they still do. Still up, Still up, still fine. But no, the idea that Nintendo thinks they can do this is kind of scary, because it fucks over customers hard. It makes game preservation a lot harder, and let's be honest, the Switch is on its last year of life. There's no point, and there's the final little bit to dig in. It's their fucking fault people are emulating. The reason people are able to even dump files is because of a fucking issue with the graphics hardware that people have taken advantage of since the Switch came out, and they've never fixed it. And, their whole grounds of piracy is their fault. I don't give a shit. It's their fucking fault. Do you know how easy it is to get a Switch game early? I know how to do it. I don't do it, but I know how to do it because of leaks. You see, they give review copies out to gaming journalists and YouTubers and whatever, and some of them who have modded Switches then leak the game. And what happened when they did it with Tears of the Kingdom? They still gave review copies out for Mario Wonder, Pikmin 4, Mario RPG. They're probably still going to do the same shit with the Princess Peach game coming out. They still gave review copies to everyone for every Switch game that was coming out that they wanted marketed. And the problem with that is that they knew fine well these were people who were leaking the fucking game And then people were getting it early. But because these people were also giving the game reviews, they didn't stop. And the funny thing is, the main thing they wanted to use was Tears of the Kingdom. Not a lot of people were blatantly doing that. I saw TikTok after TikTok after TikTok of people blatantly playing Mario Wonder like a week before it was even released. And then like people were in the comments, so how'd you get this game? It's not out yet. Jinx, bro. Just someone leaked it, you can get it. It's funny. It's funny because these people pirated the game and they were very blatant about it, but they didn't face any punishment. The game wasn't even named in the lawsuit, to my knowledge, and Yuzu still admitted guilt. Of course, Yuzu, they do have a little bit more grounds to go after, even though they do not have any real case to take down Yuzu, because their whole reason is, oh, people might pirate. Well, yeah, I own a PC. I might pirate with that. Does that mean I have to fucking lose the PC? No, it doesn't. It's the same logic. I have a butter knife. I could stab my dog, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna do it, does it? No. See, everyone is free to make decisions. And the fun thing about ethics is that most people will generally not do something horrible or unethical, but some people will. And you just gotta accept it, you know? Some people might use a kitchen knife to do something violent. Other people will use it to butter a slice of bread. Does that mean all knives should be banned? No, it fucking doesn't. Because that means that all of the small amount of people that are killing people with those knives, well, they can't do it anymore. But the massive amount of people that are eating food with them, fuck them. They're done with. Most people who are using Switch emulation are doing it the way I do. Dumping files from the console into your PC legally. You know, you're buying the game, you're buying a copy of the files. The files are yours to do with what you want, so long as you're not distributing it and committing copyright infringement, which I'm not. None of these people were. And it's all because these people that were leaking games that people were pirating. But instead of targeting the actual leakers who will continue to do this shit after this lawsuit and will continue to leak games and the damages will still continue, you know, Yuzu is the one that gets punished. We people who are doing it ethically and are not committing piracy, we are the ones that are going to get punished, and we can't run it in 60 FPS. That is, of course, if we installed it after now. See, I got Citra, I got Yuzu, I got them both on my PC and Steam Deck, so it's not going anywhere. And frankly, people have been backing up the source code and distributing it anyway, so no one is losing out really. You just need to dig a little deeper to find it. But either way, the important thing is Switch emulation isn't fucking dead, and the issue that Nintendo's trying to combat is just going to keep going. Because so long as people can emulate Switch games, and so long as people are leaking them, it's going to continue. And it's not going to be at the fault of the people emulating, it's going to be at the fault of the people that are distributing the copies early. Because let's be honest, if you were given a choice to get a game a week early for free, or pay £50 and it barely fucking runs, I know what one I would pick. I know what one all of you would pick. I don't do it, but plenty of people do. And the thing about it is it their fault? Well, yeah, sure, you could argue, well, they're consciously doing it, but at the same time, if the person distributing it wasn't able to distribute it, there wouldn't be a problem, would there? Because the damages couldn't happen. You know, it's like the whole argument of drug dealers. Sure, that person's buying the drugs, but if the drug dealer didn't deal the drugs, there wouldn't be any sale of it. So there you go. Nintendo's real issue with piracy isn't with Yuzu, and it's certainly not with any Switch emulator. It's with the people leaking their games. But they don't want to fix the exploit people are using, and they don't want to stop the leaks. They're not making any effort. And a real problem is when they're targeting things like Citra. Citra is for 3DS. The 3DS has been discontinued for years. The eShop was shut down. Games have not been in print for a long time. They have financially no reason to care. They do not benefit, they do not lose from 3DS emulation. In fact, everyone with a 3DS that I know mods their 3DS now. I am more than willing to post a tutorial on this channel to show you how to do it with your own 3DS. Leave in the comments down below if you want that. I'm happy to do it. Because it literally takes like 20 minutes, and the risk of crashing your 3DS while doing it, virtually nothing. It's amazing. And it makes the 3DS so much better. But they don't want you to emulate it on other things. They don't want you to have that freedom. They want you to pay the scalpers that will take hundreds of pounds over a game, and then Nintendo takes nothing. Because they're anti-consumer as fuck. The real issue with this is that emulation for 3DS games is great for preservation. It keeps things alive after the cartridges and console dies out. But they don't want that. They've never wanted that, and they've made it very apparent. And now that they're actually trying to take legal action on emulators, you know, it just proves Nintendo don't give a fuck. They just want control over it. They don't want you to preserve your games. They just want to be able to have the final say. I mean, you know, things like Xbox and PlayStation, they have a good amount of backwards compatibility, so you've never really needed to emulate with them because you can just get the shit on their platforms. They release streaming software. If I go on my PS5 right now, I can get games from the fucking PS2, PS3, and PS4, all of which are fully backwards compatible on their live service. I'm not a fan of the live service, but hey, at least the game's not completely gone. At least I can still fucking play it. At least I can play fucking Beyond Two Souls and fail every prompt in the game but still win, you know? And that's why I don't really feel the need to emulate Xbox or PlayStation games, because most of them, generally, are backwards compatible and can run on the newer consoles. I'll emulate things like Dragon Quest VIII because I can't get it on my PS5, but I know my PS2 is not going to be alive for much longer. Those things die way too fucking quickly nowadays. So, emulation's really the only way to consistently play the game without fear. Honestly, the whole situation is just a bunch of bullshit, and it's not going to change. Because realistically, let's be honest, even if Yuzu is gone and Citra is gone and all that shit, someone is going to replace it. Someone will make a new emulator. Someone will replace it. We still have Ryujinx. People are still pushing out and distributing the existing Yuzu and Citra code and backing it up. So even though they took it down off the official site, it's not fucking gone. And the thing that Nintendo don't really want to acknowledge is that their leakers are the problem, not the emulators. And you can take down an emulator, but people will just keep making it. People will just make a new one. That's how it works. But yeah, that's this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a long-winded rant because this really does annoy me. I've got plenty to say about it. I could be here for much longer. But yeah, leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more content. We're close to 100 subscribers now. And if you want a Switch modding tutorial, write in the comments below, and I am more than happy to show you guys how to do it. Enjoy your night. Goodbye. And may my webcam work for the next fucking stream.